Now, let's bring in Philippine Star Associate Editor Marichu Villanueva to weigh in on this issue this time around. She is, of course, joining us live from the headquarters. Ichu, I assume you heard that conversation we just had with Attorney Barry. All right.
Yes.
So, what do you have to say about all that? Anything to add?
Just to share. Yeah, just to share with you, because it was breaking news just before I sat here, that the Vice President disclosed during her press conference today her just concluded meeting with the Dangerous Drugs Board headed by Undersecretary Catalino Cuy. And during that meeting, after that meeting, she announced to the press that she had already written to President Duterte a letter yesterday seeking clarification of her specific role as chairperson of the ICAD, and that she branded as fake news the reported meetings or talking with the foreign human rights groups that are against President Duterte, that she never had any dealings or meeting with these human rights advocates groups that are against President Duterte. But just a thought, Sean, while Barry was talking, it struck me, why is it that with the modern technology, telephone, cellular, why can't these two leaders of our country just call each other and trash out things? If they do not want to meet personally, they can just talk to each other directly. Sean?
He doesn't have a cell phone and relies on Bongo for, I think it's because he doesn't have a smartphone. I think that's why Bongo always has to be there to have a cell phone. I think this is pretty much fact. I'm not making fun and I'm not making this up, right?
Yes,
You make
the landline.
You make an excellent point, Ichu. But then what I'd like to find out is regarding this lack of trust between the president and the vice president. As we know, it started when she was appointed as the anti-drug czar. And then, to be fair, it appears that this distrust arose when the vice president is said to have stepped beyond the limitations that were intended by the president when the role was assigned to her. What can we say about this? Can we just continue with the trial and error until finally the vice president finds out what she's supposed to do?
I think the president got the wrong impression from her several press conferences, because the vice president was merely reacting to questions asked of her by reporters. So the president was right in saying that the vice president might be talking out. He even used the word scatterbrain or knee-jerk, grandstanding. But the point is, the vice president was merely responding to questions of the reporters. So, and the vice president, no less than Barry Gutierrez admitted, is not a politician. So she fell to this kind of trap, or she was trapped into responding to these questions out of her personal beliefs and out of her personal opinion, and that she didn't realize the implications of what she said, and that gave the wrong impression to the president. And understandably, the president would want someone, would like the vice president to be circumspect with her job, because really this entails a lot of highly sensitive information if you are waging a war against illegal drugs big time, and international syndicates at that. So the president has that kind, of course the president requires complete trust and confidence on his alter egos, and the vice president has had, we know, she has her own faults and missteps in the past when she was the HUDCC chairman of the Housing Urban Development Coordinating Council, when she spoke criticizing the Duterte administration when she is part of the cabinet, and that had gave the basis by which some of her fellow cabinet members are not comfortable to be seated at the cabinet meeting, because and the president echoed that this last night when the president said what the vice president might be talking in public, talking to media, might be a rich ground for the fishing expedition. He used the word fishermen at the Senate, referring to the opposition members, and that would be used against him. And if these are just political talks, it's safe. But when it involves highly sensitive security matters, that's a different story, Charles and Sean.
That's absolutely right. Everything that comes out of the Vice President's mouth is, of course, newsworthy. For that matter, everything that comes out of the President's
Yes.
mouth is also newsworthy. So that goes for the both of
Yes.
them, right? But let's move on
Yes.
over to again, I'm talking. I'm going to bring in Senator Ping Lacson here, the voice of reason in all of this. He was, of course, PNP chief. He has been a senator for a long time. He knows how this goes. He is actually in favor of sharing information with the vice president. He believes this is key to her being successful in her job. And as of now, I guess we're still getting the limits and the list of what exactly her job entails or her job description. She's asking for it from the president himself. Has Robredo been gaining a lot of support recently because of, this most recent tirade, especially last night?
But you see, there is also the other side, former PNP chief and now Senator Ronald Bato de la Rosa, and Senator Lacson was also a former PNP chief. They share the common sentiments that police matters that are classified and are really intelligence-driven information are something that cannot be shared. And no less than Senator Lacson tweeted over the weekend that the President Duterte was right in making caution and issuing the caution to the Vice President to be careful with what she shares in public and the information she shares with foreigners. And not necessarily they are against the president, but these are matters of state that must be protected. Sean.
As usual, thank you for your time and your insight. Philippine Star Associate Editor Marichu Villanueva, I'm pretty sure we'll still be talking with you about this topic tomorrow.